So, here we are talking about the Detroit Red Wings once again, and this time, we actually have some pretty good news. Yeah, I know, the entire past few weeks has been filled with doom and gloom, and Yzerman is leaving, and Larkin doesn't want to be a part of the team anymore, and now, for a lot of hockey fans that were watching Family Feud of all things, y'all saw Dylan Larkin as the captain of the USA squad on Family Feud, and, yeah, it's weird. Anyways, today we're also going over the Daily Faceoff DFO Rundown episode from earlier this week. We already showcased this episode in the video earlier in today's show, where we spoke about the Arbor Xhekaj Philadelphia Flyers trade talk, but there also is a pretty decent segment on what's next in Detroit, discussed by Daily Faceoff's Irfan Gaffar, as well as the Fourth Period's David Pagnotta. So again, just like the first video in today's program, we'll leave a link in the description to this Daily Faceoff video. It's 21 minutes long. There's a lot of juicy NHL discussion in here. Today we're talking about Alex DeBrincat and what his future could look like with this Dylan Larkin departure thing and where DeBrincat's stance is on the matter. He's a guy from Michigan, after all. Obviously, DeBrincat really proved himself as one of the better Detroit Red Wings this past season. And it's kind of interesting for Detroit because with Dylan Larkin's potential departure and with Patrick Kane's confirmed departure, Alex DeBrincat is one of the only American dudes that's still left trying to carry the load as Detroit Red Wings players for next year. You can say JT Compher is also in that as well, but I don't think people really like JT Compher all that much. Same could be said about Andrew Kopp. They're definitely not Alex DeBrincat level fan favorites. Anyways, NHL Trade Alert posted the Daily Faceoff Detroit Red Wings update. Take a look at this from David Pagnotta. The Red Wings are looking for another top six forward. They did have some interest in Eeli Tolvanen at one point. The guys talk about if hiring a new GM will help repair the Larkin situation. Meanwhile, Alex DeBrincat will want a big raise on his next contract. How will the new GM view that? Yeah, I'm reading this verbatim. View. Let's actually talk about this first point here. The Red Wings are interested in Eeli Tolvanen, and that is a very interesting name, and one that I actually think would be a great addition to the Detroit Red Wings and what they're trying to build here. Tolvanen is a guy that I've very much been a fan of over the past few years. He is a 30 to 40 point winger that provides so much intangible grit. He blocks shots, he delivers body checks, he scores goals. He is a very nice pickup every week as a streamer option in fantasy hockey. And even though it's true, Tolvanen is a guy that I think a lot of us thought as one of the best prospects in hockey once upon a time, particularly when he was lighting up the Jokerit KHL team in 2017-18. Even though he hasn't necessarily fulfilled those expectations into the long term, he is still a very serviceable player, and playing for Seattle and posting up 36 points in 78 games, that's definitely not bad for a player playing on a team as bad as the Seattle Kraken. Definitely not bad for a player on a team as bad. Yeah, okay, there's a lot of bad in there. Michael Jackson, but either way, Tolvanen, if he was a target of Stevie Y's, I hope that he is still a target of the next GM coming over to Detroit. He would be a really nice winger addition, and if you think about Patrick Kane leaving and Tolvanen coming in, I'm not saying that it's a one-for-one replacement, but Tolvanen does provide more value outside of point producing comparative to Patrick Kane. I think he plays with a little bit more pace, more intensity, and better defensive responsibility than Kane. Even though, of course, Patty Kane is probably destined for like a 70-point season this year, especially if he's playing with Connor Bedard. We also have another conversation that was posted on Twitter by Sad Times in Hockeytown. This relates to that Daily Faceoff point about Alex DeBrincat wanting a big raise on his next contract. Not revealing my source, so this is a very anonymous Twitter posts going out there, but I have been told that Alex DeBrincat had told those close to him that he wants to finish his career as a Red Wing. Expect an extension. No word yet on when it'll be announced, most likely once the new GM takes over. No idea the term or the AAV. A reply says, "If you are lying, I will hunt you down." No lies. I've been told he has said this to his inner circle. So that does check out with the Alex DeBrincat wants a raise on his next contract argument, but just to hear, apparently, word on the grapevine, the streets in Detroit, Michigan, indicating that supposedly Alex DeBrincat's already telling those around him that, yeah, I kind of want to stay in Detroit. Firstly, it makes sense. He is from Michigan after all. But just hearing that despite all the tribulation, the GM getting kicked out, Dylan Larkin quitting on this team, that DeBrincat is still interested in remaining a Red Wing, it's almost like the stars are aligning, right? I mean, you think about what he did this previous season, 85 points in 82 games played, 41 goals, 44 assists. That is a career high in assists and points for Dylan Larkin on a season. This is a guy that is providing some of the best hockey of his life to the Detroit Red Wings right now. Y'all thought that he was going to be capped after getting a 40-goal season playing alongside of Patrick Kane and then just kind of, fizzling out a little bit? Okay, fine. But as we saw the past few years, when DeBrincat plays with Kane again, he can still go out there and produce. Now, though, with the departure of Larkin and the departure of Kane, it's going to really be up to DeBrincat to prove that he can produce this level of production without some of those top-tier players. So, yeah, the power play was actually pretty good for Detroit this last season. Dylan Larkin, Raymond, Seider, DeBrincat, and I guess Patty Kane too. As long as DeBrincat is able to continue that streak of production, I honestly don't think that he is going to be seen as a bad contract at any time. He's making 7.8 right now. He is extension eligible for 27, 28, and beyond. If he goes out there and gets something in the 10, 11, 12 range, that would fit with the recent wave of winger extensions we have been seeing get signed around the National Hockey League these days. There are some replies asking, okay, maybe he gets like $14 million AAV. That is a little steep, I'm not gonna lie, but if it is a long-term deal, which is implied because apparently he wants to be a Red Wing for life, if Detroit is getting this guy signed till 2034, 2035, something like that, if they sign him before the September something CBA changed rule date, then maybe there is a world where Alex DeBrincat making like 13, 14 million is not that bad if he's able to continue producing well into his 30s. I don't necessarily see his game as being that of a product of his youth anyway. Like, DeBrincat is really good at sniping it. If you give him time, you give him space, you give him an angle, he'll find a seam for the puck. He moves really nicely. He's only 5'8", 181, but he has found a way to maneuver and consistently string together offense at a consistent rate. I mean, just look at it, he's played 696 games in the NHL. Look at his Ironman streak, 82, 82, 82, 82, 82. He plays games. He finds ways to avoid physicality that he's not going to come out on the positive end of. And I think that sort of longevity builds careers that are revered amongst NHL fans. And Alex DeBrincat is one of these guys that I think is in a great position to set that up for himself. So you can let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. The very good news that DeBrincat apparently wants to stick around long-term with Detroit, and also reports that the Red Wings are interested in Eeli Tolvanen. This guy's still a free agent at the time of recording this audio, so hopefully the Red Wings are able to get a really nice, talented piece like this into their system for next year and beyond. You can let me know your thoughts in the comment section about Tolvanen, about DeBrincat. I hope you enjoyed this video. And bye.